Well, I don't think it's my place to look outside of Europe before I look at Europe. I believe there are differences for many reasons, and they are interesting to compare and to research. But I wouldn't definitely start there. I'm interested in why is it still happening here in our culture that we are part of and we are daily like participating on.
I mean, that's just like very simplistic view, though. That's like, I'm sorry to, maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm not actually. I should not apologize for this. It's a very simplistic view to think that women, first of all, that that cultural implications do not affect how women work, and like how historically oppressive patriarchal models don't affect women now, right? And it's just very. I mean, I have worked with many men in my life, fortunately or unfortunately, who do not consider themselves to be sexist, but bias always seeps in. It's not as easy to get rid of as we think it is. It's not as easy as saying, oh, I'm not sexist, but it's as maybe easy as saying. Why are women not in STEM? Maybe it's because they don't have the stamina or something like that, where
Also, like, additionally, I hate to break it to you, but even in Sudan, where either you're a lawyer, engineer, or a doctor, what happens to a lot of women is that once they get married, they start becoming housewives.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
So being educated is not just used because you want to get a good job, but it's also used to find mates.
And it works like this also in Europe. Maybe you don't necessarily become a housewife that doesn't have an additional job, but you are the one who is responsible for the house chores and goes for the maternity leave. And this is just like aspects that are not ignorable, and it's not about stamina. It's not about like wanting something more. It's about not being able to afford to do it differently for generations.
Not being able to even have the time, because statistics show that even in Europe, let's not like talk about the world, especially Austria is quite it's actually quite bad when it comes to like more developed European nations, when it comes to gender equality in work habits. Statistically, women bear the brunt of the housework. And also now, because of this pandemic, they're not only doing more housework than the men, they're also losing their jobs more. They're taking care of their kids, they're taking care of their husbands, blah blah blah, right? So it's not simply just about self doubt or stamina. It's also about the fact that we have never been afforded that luxury to just do what we want to do. Yeah.
Do you think is it changing, or is it just a rule that like makes the we have the saying in Slovak that goes like there is only one exception that doesn't make the rule change ever. So I feel like every good example at this scale might actually even be worse because it doesn't really change the scale of things. I'm not sure.
As a woman in STEM, if I can maybe just add.
Yeah, please.
Educational and personal background aside, even though that's never an aside, even in the field of life sciences, when usually in the undergraduate you have an equal or even slightly more young women starting this, as you move up the pyramid of academia, and you go to PhDs, postdocs, group leaders, women drop off, or usually around the postdoc, then you see that the drop is quite significant. And it's usually because of, if you want to have a family, the man might go on maternity leave, but the man's not going to be pregnant, the man is going to give birth and have to recover afterwards. And also what I've seen, colleagues of mine and my own experience, 8 out of 10 times the woman moves for the man and not the other way around. More often than not, it's the woman who will then, if there is a family that's needed, give up her job, because if you're in academic research, it's most likely less paid, etc. Also, maternity leave and all this stuff. You might have your experiences, but interrupting your work, especially in a field constantly moves forward, is quite detrimental to your progress. And as for, we often joke, like, it's hard being a woman in science when you're carrying a 5-liter flask of bacterial culture, but I think, yes, of course, we have many more women in these fields than we had 100 years ago, and it's brilliant. It's great. But I would just say that the field is male oriented, or, like
It's also been shown that women in academia oftentimes don't wear makeup, don't dress up so nicely, because if you're pretty, people will maybe not take you so seriously, etc. Oh, and one last thing. I mean, of course, people drop out of the academic German. And what I've heard from women is mostly, I'm not sure I'm good enough. I'm not sure this is the thing that I can do. And you almost never hear it from men. And I think this comes also from the way we're brought up, the way society is. Not because women are less capable, but still we put ourselves down much more than men. Because men are say, oh, I want to make more money. I want to, I don't know. And women are like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I have it. I blah, blah, blah. So I guess, yeah.
I got a bit confused at first by the turn the discussion took, but I actually find it quite interesting how every time subjects like this are being discussed, it goes very quickly into personal experiences, and everyone starts sharing their own version or their own experiences related to this subject. And I think maybe it has to do with the way Gabriela, you are also introducing this with the relationship with your brother. But I'm wondering if this is something that could be interesting in your work, like something that you could add into your work, how the people react to what you are saying. How everyone, like, sometimes I feel like some people are trying to justify something, and then it does not escalate, but everyone gets very personal very quickly. I also wanted at first to tell you about some things that I have happened in my life regarding this, and
because that's the thing, like from the point of view of a woman in whatever field, you have to like prove that it's true that the system is really disadvantaging you, so you have to like collect all the experiences that just like are evidences of this in order to be trusted, because just I mean all the evidences that are here in statistics are very easily just put aside, and that's why I feel like people have nothing else than their personal experiences that are usually not something you wish to for anybody to have, but it seems like without like traumatizing enough or bad enough experiences, you don't even have the right to say that this is really how the stuff is. So it's problem of its own, I feel.